What's cracking? We got people waiting for us. Not yurt. No.
No, see, it says there's a T there.
You better get out of here. What is going on?
Oh, good. The sun is going behind the building as we speak.
I lowered my music. There you go. There you go. I was trying to get the music leveled in. The sun is going down. We got the music going on. The sun is going down, but the party is about to happen.
Well, that's when parties happen, right? Like you can't have a party in the daytime with all the full sun.
You right. What is going on?
I know because I'm a party animal.
Yes, you are. Absolutely. Hold on. Wait. Let me get my sound effects. Oh, there it is. Loria's a party animal. What is going on? Lala is here. How are you, Lala? What is cracking? You're Paul, Mr. Moderator. Marcus, hip hop. So we had to get hip hop and reggaeton. She was trying to get ready. Look there. There you go. She's good. She got a little two-step going on. Hey. There you go. All right.
I'm afraid to dance to India's music because one time she yelled at me for having to, I don't know, not good music.
You know good music. You know good music. You do know good music. All right, so I'm echo cancellation. We're getting echo. I just turned on the echo cancellation.
Okay.
Let's see if that, let me know. I just turned that off. Thank you very much. Lewis, what is cracking? How are you guys? I got it on chat. We should be good now. Let me make sure. Oh, I know why. That was me. This should be better.
Of course it was you.
It was because we reset the, we were just talking about it. Whatever. What is going on? See, it was me because I had to reset my Rodecaster Pro again. Koa's in the background saying hi. Squeaky toys. All right, cool. Thanks, Lewis.
Squeaky toy.
All right, I'm gonna try to look for some good music to get Luria. What are we doing? Let me see. Because this is kind of slow. This is like, what's happening here? What's happening here? This is
what was the best thing that you guys did today in chat? Best thing that occurred today or that you did? Gretchen is listening from the car.
Hope you're driving safely. Exactly. Oh, this is Luria. This is let's be on the beach, on the sand, with like whatever your drink of choice is, where the sun is going down. So this is the sun is going down. You got some shades on. There you go. This is this kind of vibe. Like, see, this is this chill. We end in the day type of chill.
You know where I learned that move?
What's that?
Any guesses?
No.
Rolling with my homies from Clueless.
Sammy says the best thing about today was making content. All right, Sammy.
Nice.
I see you, Sammy superstar. I see you.
Abby doesn't play with squeaky toys.
Good for you, because Koa is, so Tyler is too old. He does not, but Koa is still in that puppy phase, and it is like, I feel like it's the loudest squeaky toy in the world.
Yeah, it is when you're trying to work.
Right. It's like, what is happening here? K-Walk says, K-Walk is a principal in North Carolina. So her day today was 3 suspensions. Kids were crazy today.
Oh.
They were crazy. Crazy. Lewis says, best thing today.
That is a lot.
Remote produced the podcast. He remote produced the flow. Yeah. Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Ooh, Gretchen's on the highway with Bob, her husband. It's her turbo 6-speed Mini Cooper. I'll take that.
Oh, but Bob's driving.
Fast.
Okay.
Bob's driving.
Right.
She's safe.
Fantastic.
Bob is driving. That is correct. Yes, I know. Safe. All right, all right, all right. What is it cracking? What up, girl? How you doing?
Yurt, I'm doing fantastic. You're never gonna break me.
I know.
Oh, I am doing fantastic. It is sunset, so you're making me miss the sunset right now. So point away from you.
All right, I'm sorry. Next time I'll just change my whole timing of my show. We teach consistency.
Please do.
We teach consistency. I'll just say, but if Loria's on the show, you throw that all out the window, coño. That's it.
I love hanging with you, India.
I love hanging with you too. It's always a good time. Always a good time. And Mr. Moderator is here and he's saying, got a question for India or Loria? Remember, put a Q colon in front of it. Your question should look like this. Otherwise, it is just a comment. Thank you, Paul. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Oh, wait, look, Gretchen is jumping on your bandwagon. Yes, Loria.
I know.
It's the Northwestern way. You know what? Y'all better leave me alone. Get out of here.
Yogurt. PNW, we do yurts.
Oh, man. So what's going on, Loria? How are you? Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Can you believe it's been about 2 years?
You.
I talk about, it's been like 2 years. We've been friends and like it's been too long. You were on my journey when I bought this house.
That's right. I remember that.
And I remember because I think you had gotten your place maybe like a few months or a few weeks right before, and I saw your brick wall, and I was like, oh my God, I got to show you my house. And it was...
You were texting me pictures, and I was like, who is this girl? No, I'm just joking.
I see how it is, Loria. I see how it is. All right. See how you're going to do me. All right. Loria, can you bring up your mic a little bit? Bring up the volume just a little bit. Sounds a little, sounded fine. But of course, all the things happen.
All right. How's that?
Sounds good.
It's up on top?
Yeah. You're good. Sorry.
No, you taught me loop back. That was how we met.
That was how we met for one of your clients. And wasn't Susan? So you know what's so funny? I've been wanting to say, because you brought one of your friends. Wasn't that Susan that you brought? Because we did the test call with Zoom.
I don't remember.
Because we were trying. I feel like it was Susan that you brought on.
It might have been.
I gotta ask her the next time we all chat, because we got it together. You did the settings. You were worried about the Rodecaster Pro, the eCam, and so you needed one third person, and you called someone. I'm pretty confident it was Susan who was in the chat, in the Zoom, and we did it like all that way. Yeah, and look at where we're at.
And now it's come full circle. You're two of my coaches, which is like amazing, and we work together. That's so fantastic.
I know. Paul says, so we have a running joke with Paul, Mr. Moderator. So I say that I keep Paul in my basement here.
I love the squeak. No, don't take it away. I love it.
Take it away. All right. As long as it's not distracting, because they know I will take it away from her. Okay. I will legit take it away from her and not. Let me see if I can show you what she looks like. She's upside down. That is Paula right now, acting crazy. Let me see if I can flip this over. But Paul, we have a running joke, and Paul says that I keep him locked away in the actually that behind that door right there that you're seeing. Paul says that I keep him locked away there to run my show. And so he's saying that you're lucky I just send you pictures because I keep him locked away. Anyway. Sammy coming in with a question. The real question is, do you still use Loopback? That's a good question. Do you still use it with your clients? Or do you say, no, right? Yeah.
No, don't. I mean, there are use cases for it, but currently not with the capabilities that we have now. And
yeah, I agree with eCam and with the Rodecaster Pro, with the second one that we have I just had to reset because sound was not coming out of it. I mean, when it works, it works. And when it doesn't work, I want to throw it out the window. But yeah, man. Anyway, so I don't want to make the assumption and assume that everyone knows who you are, because I like to do that. So why don't let's say it's a brand new person to the channel. Let's tell everybody who you are, what your business is, and, who's LSP. While Koa gives,
Do
sorry,
we
the
have
Koa
any?
gives a background noise. Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. Do we have anybody new? Type new in the comments so we can identify you. Don't be afraid to speak up and say hi. I don't bite. So I'm Luria Petrucci, and my channel is Livestreaming Pros. We really help you build your confidence with the tech of a pro video studio and be able to just deliver your message. Sometimes the tech can hold you back from accomplishing all of the amazing things that you have to do in your life and in your business and in your content. So really it's about unleashing you to be able to go be awesome and get over the tech.
Very cool. And Victor Shishang says he's new, allegedly.
You are not new.
He's
You
right.
are
Like,
not new. Why does everybody say they're new when they're not new?
I know. They do it to you a lot on your Friday streams. Marcus, look at
I
Marcus.
know.
Marcus says, who is that Luria? Never seen her before. Man, and you know what's so funny? So I remember the last time you were supposed to be, we had scheduled to be together. You were coming on my show. I was at Angie's house and the internet is atrocious. I had all the problems and we just kind of said, we'll reschedule. Here we are 2 years later. I remember from that stream, you started to talk about a TED Talk that you did. Why don't you talk? Because I didn't really get to get into it that day, but I would love to hear just a little bit about, obviously, your beginning, your TED Talk, your history, because I don't think a lot of people, they know who you are now. I don't think a lot of people know who you really, really are and your background.
Sounds like I'm a spy or something.
I mean, maybe. You never know.
Well, actually, there is a tie-in there. So I started doing video content in 2005. I don't know why I'm shutting off a decade there. 2005. And I was going by the alias Callie Lewis. And we had this whole thing about being the Geek Intelligence Agency, the GIA. And we actually had our viewers assigned to numbers, to spy numbers, so they actually got cards. And I heard recently from the person who has the number one card, they still have it, which is pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
So there was this whole thing around the Geek Intelligence Agency, but it was all about gadget reviews and tech stuff. And so, I've been doing it for 17 years now, and many evolutions, many mistakes, many successes. I've been lucky I built up an audience of 2 million followers. I then lost them, had to rebuild from scratch. And I'm very thankful for that experience, because with all of the amazing things I've been able to accomplish, hosting TV shows, working for Panasonic and Samsung and Bausch and Lomb, and, traveling the world to share my experiences with my creators on other people's dimes, incredible experiences over the years. Yeah. And I'm very thankful for having to start from scratch again, and having that real huge burnout moment where I was like, I can't take any more of this, right? I loved what I did, and I spent 10 years doing it, and then I burnt out, and I kind of blew things up. And now I know how to pivot. Now I know how to take, a burnout or a moment of I need to make some adjustments here to make it work for my life again, and build that business behind it so that it can work without me at all times, and take that, right? And so that's really that moment of burnout, the biggest burnout that I've ever experienced. And I think that that's a reality for many, all of us content creators. And I've seen so many people burn out and never come back. And yet, I was able to really start again, shift it, understand it. And that's really where my passion these days comes from, is that experience and understanding what it really takes to do this long-term and sustainably. The TED Talk, the TEDx, I do need to clarify, TEDx talk, was about the experience of that kind of creating this brand around this alias. I went by an
Yeah.
alias for 10
Yeah.
years, right? And
Yeah.
and it started to feel like, you know, it was part me, it was part this perfected version of me,
Yep.
and I had to break out of the bubble, and that experience of breaking out of the bubble was traumatizing. It
Mm-hmm.
was freeing. It was all the things. But I started when I was young 20s, you know,
Yeah.
and doing that for 10 years, getting into your 30s where you're supposed to grow up.
Right. Right.
Now, like, I hadn't built a business out of my content where it allowed me to grow up, and
Yeah.
that's kind of where it really was revolving around. And I seeing people build a business that allows them to grow up, to shift, to allow improvements in life and become a new version of yourself each and every step of the way
Yeah.
is really, really cool for me to be able to do now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a great story, and it's so, it's so crazy how life really brings you full circle and just
It does, it is.
all of that, right? Like your experiences and stuff. So I
Mhm.
remember a lot of us newer content creators got into this because of the pandemic. That's the reality, right?
Yeah.
It was we were sitting at home. It was how do we pivot our business or whatever our voice were into now some form of content creation.
Mhm.
For me, it was at the bank with my first time home buyer seminars, right? And it was, well, I
Yeah.
can't do them in person anymore. Everything shifted. Or even our business meetings from from a corporate America perspective shifted to Zoom or WebEx or whatever.
Mhm.
And because India, go big or go home. You know me, right? It's like, well, I can't look crappy on camera. Like it's the same thing. I'm a big believer, and definitely that was one of my dad's mantras of first impressions are everything. That's,
Mhm.
human nature. You step into a room and people are just unfortunately judging you as soon as you step into a room. Good, bad, right, wrong. That's just what it is. So I've always been big on my first impressions. And that in corporate America, that's a big thing. Like that can be sometimes
Yeah.
damaging to your self-confidence because you can have all the skills in the world, and if
Mhm.
you don't have the best, nicest suit or whatever, it limits, right,
Yeah.
your growth. So I
No,
go ahead. Go ahead.
okay.
No,
I
no,
was
go
just
ahead.
wondering if we could do a little bit of a mindset shift there.
Yeah, let's do
Like
it.
people are judging you versus people are making decisions about you. Like
Mm,
I think that if we can really wrap our brain around it's a decision that they're making, it's not
yeah,
a necessarily a judgment, that kind
yeah,
of free us up to say, I don't have to be perfect because decision in my brain, like if somebody's making a decision about me, that means I can be a little bit, I can be raw, I can be
yeah,
human. And that decision, if I'm being human, that decision is, oh, I like you because you're
yeah,
human, right?
yeah,
And so like it releases a lot of that pressure.
yeah. No, 100%. And it's that, listen, the mindset shift was really, that's for a whole nother stream for another day. I shared it with one of the teams in the accelerator group. I think on one of our Q&As, I shared that
Mm.
just about like first impressions and just even me being gay and like how I dress and more
Mhm.
masculine present. Like that's a whole nother conversation. But that's a big part of it for me, that first
Yeah.
impression. And then, so now bringing it back to the content creator, it was, well, I have to do these presentations. So, and I don't know if
Mhm.
I ever told you this story. The first presentation I ever did in Zoom, we usually pack a room. I'm used to presenting to 50 or 60 people, right? Like I don't get nervous for public
Yeah.
speaking. I feed off of everybody's energy. You and I are very similar with that. Like we want to get the room pumped, and body
Mhm.
language is really important. And so that's so easy when you're in the room. And
Yeah.
so when you're doing this in the camera, it's near impossible to read well, it's impossible to read body language, but I feed off of the comments. I know you're the same way, right? Like we got it. How do
Mhm.
we figure out the engagement? So my very first presentation that I ever did, it was probably at 7 o'clock at night. There were 60 participants signed up, which was a huge success when you're looking at it for a first time homebuyer seminar. Every single person had their camera off. So in Zoom, all I saw were black screens and the white letters with their names. All I saw, right? My first one. So everyone, and the one guy who had his camera on, Luria, he was like this.
Oh gosh.
I was mortified. Like my whole presentation was, because I was looking at this screen, just looking at black boxes, and it just,
Yeah.
I ended that call. My heart was hurt, and I was like, I can't do this. I cannot
Oh.
do this. So then I started researching, found OBS, found, right, like a whole bunch of different things. Eventually one thing led to another, found Ecamm. That's how I came to it. So found Ecamm and started going through that path of research of, all right, so Ecamm is one tool, but how do you put all these other tools together? So understanding a camera, understanding a microphone, all of that good stuff. And there were certain channels that I found, and Livestreaming Pros was one of those very first channels that I immediately found. And so I know for a very long time, like we're talking about up until 3 weeks ago, you were the only channel membership that I subscribed to. I do not do any channel memberships. And the 2 or 3 weeks ago, the one that I finally said yes to was Tom Buck. Because it's just in terms of the value, and I've stolen so much from him. Let me support him. Right.
That's awesome.
The fangirling over you and your channel and like the content, seriously, the content and just your live streams and the information that you gave away with what needed to be done and being uniquely you and all of that stuff. I was like, I remember, and I was with my ex at the time. I remember like, she's so awesome. And I remember there was one show that you talked about when you were talking about production and the things that, the potential and the opportunities. There was a gig, I guess you had done with AT&T, and you talked about very briefly some of the revenue that you guys generated from that, but how long the project took. And I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Right. And here we are 2 years later. So then, so to go a year later or however many months later, when Katie introduced us, it was like, no way. And then now, like I said, 2 years later, where I get to be a part of your team, I'm one of your coaches, learning from you. You're my mentor, right? Like all of that stuff. It's like,
but we're friends, like all of that, but we're friends.
Absolutely. No, 100%. We're definitely friends because you get to say you're on my show. A friend would not, if you were not a friend, I would have just hung up on you. I would have hit the Ecamm end and ended there. She said, what? Nah, you're not repping New York like that.
I didn't know all of that story. I knew some of it, but I didn't know the whole bit of it. And I just like, it humbles me so much that I'm able to support people in that of like, oh, like this is what I want to do. And this is kind of, helping you see the possibilities, which I think is what you're saying at the end of the day. It was just opening up a world of possibilities for you. And then you took action and actually dove into those possibilities and made them happen. And that's where the kicker is. And that's what separates you from the rest of the world, is that you actually took that action, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, super amazing. Carlos is here. This is Motivated Minds. Carlos, he says, Luria, you were the first creator I viewed that helped me set up my virtual private practice when everything shut down. Carlos is great.
Awesome.
Carlos.
Thank you, Carlos.
I'm trying to think. I don't want to say he's a psychologist. He's somewhere in that realm because he comes in and he be dropping all the knowledge. He's like in the therapist space and he be doing what he does to all of us. He's great. I love when he comes on, but I'm like, Carlos, get out of here. It's a free session, but chill. Like, I don't need you to, let's do this in private, not in public. Like, stop.
I actually just got off the call with my therapist.
See?
So
there you go. All
I'm
right.
a big fan.
Shijong Victor says, I wish LSP was one of the first channels I found. It would have saved me so much stress. It's true. So true. Everyone is just giving you all the accolades.
Oh, you guys.
Marcus says, Luria made me a content creator. Never look back. It's just so crazy. And
that's so cool.
And then I won't make you any more uncomfortable. But even with So yesterday we had our call after the new year and we hadn't spoken for like a few weeks and stuff. And so I've had different meetings with different people, and you know how it is, different
Mhm.
people you do business with and stuff. And
Mhm.
you are just so when we do our mastermind calls, you're full of so much knowledge, but it's so much more than being knowledgeable, right? Like it goes to when I think about when you say being uniquely you, you're authentic, you're nice. Like that goes so far. You know, it's just so like, and we make fun of you where we bother you, we're like you're too nice sometimes, but it's just
Of
yesterday
course.
being on the call with you and just you being so down to earth and just hanging out with you, it was like, oh, I needed this. Like I needed it more than what you
Aw.
probably knew, right? Just to hang out and talk where you're teaching us, you're coaching us, but in a way that it's you know, you make me feel like I'm your equal, you know, and that's so important to really learn from someone. Go ahead. I see you, your thoughts, your brains. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we all are equals, right? We have different levels of experience, different experiences, and one of my favorite things about any call that I'm on, and the calls that you're referring to, like I've taken stuff that you guys have said and implemented that, right? And like we all have something to share and to give and a different perspective,
Yeah.
and I love being a facilitator of great conversations. That's what I am at the end of the day, and to challenge perspectives and to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone. That's what I do and I do best.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that I'm better than anybody else by any means, right? So like there's even with 17 years of experience, I always have something new to learn. And I think that that's maybe what sets our community apart
Yes.
from a lot out there,
Yeah.
and just that openness and that willingness to share and be vulnerable and to say, I don't know it all, because no one can know it all, but we all know something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. You're just so, you're so
when,
great.
when are we gonna like give each other a hug in person now? Come on.
Soon. I was looking forward to expand your reach when we said we were all going to meet up in
I
Tennessee. I was like,
know.
yes, it's all right. We can't wait till next year. We're going to have to, our retreat, we're going to have to figure something out and
There
plan
you
it. Absolutely.
go.
So I guess now talking about with what you're saying, I think that that's a great segue. Let's talk a little bit about how you pivoted in the last year.
Mm,
I know in one of your calls the last couple of weeks, I don't remember which of the calls that you did, but you talked about how Q3 was one of the, or the best, right?
mhm.
Quarters of revenue for you. And there are some things that you did differently last year. Talk to us about what some of those changes are. Let's talk about obviously like the accelerator program, because I know that that was a big shift for you, or a
Yeah.
big change for you, and what your plans are now for 2023 and ahead.
Mm. Yeah. So, I spent a long time of my career thinking of myself as a content creator. And I think that's well and good for all of us to identify as. And we can't only think of ourselves as a content creator, because the truth is, the reality is, we are wearing many different hats. And we are really, if you are going to look at this as a sustainable thing, you have to think of yourself as an entrepreneur, as building a business from your content, and the content creator aspect of it is a piece of that pie, right? And so what I did in 2022 was really step it up massively in terms of taking what I've already built and setting it up for the future growth. And so we really looked at all of the products that we offer, all of the revenue sources that we have. We look at this difference of, I like to look at it as a difference of on platform revenue and off platform revenue, because those two things, while all important, are very important to separate out in your mind, because you cannot rely on the platform in and of itself only. And so you have to diversify over time to have multiple sources of income. And so we really my team of 8 plus now you guys coaches with Accelerator program, we have a full team who really puts a ton of work into making sure that what are we building and what do our students need? What is our community desiring? And not just what they're asking for, but what do they actually need behind that they don't know that they need. And so that was the impetus of kind of recrafting our Accelerator program and really setting the stage for helping people in a way that we've never helped people before, to really think about being an entrepreneur, to really think about content creation as a long-term sustainable thing, that you don't hit that burnout, right? And I
Yeah.
really got clear on my journey and my lessons learned, and where we can really support people in taking their message, creating an amazing engaged community, and building that business so that you can do whatever it is you want. Like I have
Yeah.
massive goals, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm going to be building like a big business. Not
Let's
everybody
get it.
wants to do that,
Let's get it.
right?
Yeah. I'm excited. Yes.
Not everybody wants to do that though, so you've got to decide what is that authentic version of a company or a business or a content driven
Yep.
business that you want.
Yep.
And then you can start to build that. And that shifts over time and that can change. And so when we did that, when we really got super clear on helping people in a way that impacts them in a bigger way than ever before, we experienced also the biggest growth that we've ever had in our business. And I think that's a telling tale for you, everybody I'm talking
Yeah.
to,
Yep.
in how you're building your business, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No. So, so it's so funny. I feel like my shift, all of us were probably shifting more or less at the same time, but I know I can definitely speak to,
Yeah.
I was shifting with my thought process of, so when I first started it was, I'm a content creator. I'm a content
Mm-hmm.
creator. And then at some point last year, I realized that for me, what I'm starting to say about myself is I'm actually an entrepreneur, and I use
Yes.
content creation to elevate my business, right? Or the multiple
Oh,
streams of revenues, like legit,
mic
like
drop.
that's it. So last year, so it was perfect. Definitely kismet for us. Absolutely. Right.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. And I don't know what that moment was, but there was absolutely a shift at some point last year when I was,
Mm-hmm.
reevaluating. And maybe while I was launching my website, while I was doing, because I did all of that at the same time, launching the website, the masterclass, the 100 days, right? I think it was at
Mm-hmm.
some point in that time frame where I was like, no, I'm not a content creator. And I had to be okay with that. That's the other piece.
Yeah.
Right? Because everybody was jumping on that content creation bandwagon, everyone, because that's what the fad was. That's what the wave was. So I had to be okay with pulling away from that and saying, no, I'm not a content creator. I'm an entrepreneur, or I'm a
Yeah.
content creating entrepreneur, if we're going to say it that
Yes.
way.
As,
But
as speaking of therapist, as my
yeah,
therapist would say, two things can be true at the same
same
time, right?
time,
Like
100%. Yeah.
that was a mind-blowing thing when she first dropped that. I was like, what? Right? Like you can be a content creator and you can
Right.
be an entrepreneur.
Right, right. So essential, so coming on for the accelerator program and being a coach and
Mhm.
obviously teaching what we're teaching as a team, right? Me taking those teachings and really either solidifying it or just understanding it better, um, just is helping me get as streamlined as possible of
Yeah.
okay. And then it's also, how are you smart, right? My dad always said, what is it? My dad always said, work smarter, not harder, right? So how do we make our money? And that's in essence, when I think of what you're teaching or what we
Mhm.
are teaching as a group, right? To the accelerator students, it is, how do you generate over $5,000 a month, over $10,000 a month from different things as an entrepreneur. You're going to talk about
Yeah.
all these different avenues. You can't just be on one channel. You can't, right? Like, let's talk about building a business. Let's talk about building something where you're not chasing your wheels of, oh, the YouTube, I got monetized on YouTube, so what, right? Like, and that's a big thing. It's
And
like,
then what? Yeah.
right, exactly. Listen, I was making money consistently, right? Not obviously enough to be my full-time job, but I was making consistent income even before it was monetized on YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube was just a platform to help me. And still now, even still now, I'm
Mhm.
still kind of shifting, not that I listen, I love doing live streams, and it's the same thing for you, right? Because at some point, weren't you
Yeah.
live streaming every day? Like, you shifted even with that stuff. You were live streaming all the
I
time.
mean, over the years, I've done multiple bouts of live streaming every day. I don't remember the last one. It was probably 2020. But yeah, just like
Yeah.
I love live. I love being in
Yep.
front of the audience. And, I noticed as there's always this balancing act, right? So like
Yep.
as I was moving through a big transition in the business, I got so caught up in the opposite end of that, the
Yep.
business versus the creation, that I kind of lost a little sight there, right? And so I think that we always, and I think we all need support in this area, right? It's like
Yeah.
when you're too focused on one thing or the other, kind of drops. And I'm so grateful for you and the other coaches that you agreed to support the students in
Yeah.
Accelerator on through this process, because it really freed me up to be able to say, like, I'm still in there, I'm still supporting
Yep.
people, but
Yep.
you're in there and you're driving them forward and you're supporting that whole process. It allowed me to say, all right, like, what do I need to do to take this to the next level and
Yeah.
really look at ways to improve everything, and also create that next level of hitting a little bit of a burnout, because we pushed so hard in 2022,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
creating this new version of the business for 2023, so that I can step out of the things that I don't love doing. And this is a really important part for all of us as we grow, and
Yep.
we hit different levels of ceiling every time you step up into that. And I had to say, okay, we have this amazing stuff going on, amazing people supporting this process. What don't I love at this point, right? I've already
Yeah.
gotten a whole lot of stuff off my plate, but why am I not creating content as often as I would like to?
Yeah.
Okay, identify that. Let's shift and make the choices that we need to make to take more things off my plate, to
Yeah.
grow into that next level. And as a content making entrepreneur, what did you say?
I said
How did you
content
say?
creating entrepreneur. That's what I
Content creating entrepreneur. I'm going to use that. I'm
There you
stealing
go.
that.
Yeah.
We all hit different levels, and we
Yep.
always have to look at, and that's where that program is built, is like, there's this phase, and then we have to shift, and
Yep.
we have to focus on different things, and then we have to shift and we have to focus on different things. That is part of being an entrepreneur, running a business, making money, building out a team. And it
Yep.
doesn't have to be a huge team. It
Yep.
can be 2 or 3 people, right, that support you doing what you do best. So that you can dive into that thing that makes you uniquely best at sharing your message.
Oh my God, that is so good. That is so good. So so many things. So many things. Let me get my thoughts together.
I can talk about this all day long.
I know. So many things. Okay. So obviously we have the accelerator program, and even with your channel, right? With live streaming pros, there's also
Yeah.
a shift going on with that. Okay.
No, I'm just joking. That's okay. I'm just joking.
Okay.
Don't
Hold
tell
on,
the
guys.
secrets.
I'm fired. Check on me tomorrow. Hold on. See where I'm at tomorrow.
But good news, you've built your own business, so it doesn't matter.
Right. You're
Right?
right. You're right. You're right. You're right. But it's one of those things, right? That it's just reevaluating. And you've said some of it
Yeah.
of how can you do less with doing more, right? So even if I were to focus on that, right? Like because you're not doing less, and that's even a bad way. I don't even like putting it that way. You are, but you're doing less in this area to do more in this area over here, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, Koa just came in and started touching the keyboard. She just like the keyboard started going crazy.
Koa's like, I'm really great at showing up on camera. Let me do that thing.
Exactly. I'm like, what's happening? And so
I think, yeah.
Go ahead. No. Well, what I'm trying to say with that, the most important thing is that by you doing less, it's allowing you to come up with these great ideas to support the creator economy even more, right? Because now whatever mental space you had with, let's say, creating videos or being the coach yourself, you're freeing up that mental space by letting someone else pick up that slack, for lack of better words, so that you can really take all of the experience and the knowledge that you've built over the years and start to share the stuff with us that you haven't been able to. So however much you can talk about that, and then we can launch into, we can talk a little bit about your the masterclass that you have coming up. Koa says hi.
Yeah.
She says hi.
Hi, Koa. So cute. I really give her a big hug.
Go ahead.
You might have actually seen some of the shifts that we're making with our YouTube channels to do what you were just talking about. You might have noticed India pop up on our channel and do a video, right? Like we've been kind of playing and toying with concepts of, allowing more people to have a voice on that channel and do exactly what you said, allow me to step into what I identify as my big purpose in life. However you want to look at that, I call it my mission, right? Like my passion of really helping people take it to the next level and stay true to who they are and really build authenticity into their business and into their content as well. And so that's what I'm super passionate about. And I really want to dive into that more as we move forward. And so, yeah, like all of it is matching and meshing and supporting this whole process. But when you look at doing less so you can do more, you're right. It's like, I'm like, how can you do less in the areas that you're not uniquely talented at, uniquely skilled at, uniquely passionate about, and do more in those other areas? And when you start your content creation process with that in mind, because that's really where nobody starts.
Yeah.
But if you can start there, guess how far you can get quicker than everybody else. Like that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. So huge. So huge. Man, Cole went upstairs to fight Tyler. Now she got mad. She said, Luria doesn't want to let me be on the show. I'm going to go bother the old guy
now. What? Oh, Cole's going to hate me. I didn't know.
She loves you. So you do have a masterclass coming up, right? And you have
to really take all of this in mind, right?
Yeah.
It's really about looking at how the differences of where you are in your journey and what you need to be focusing on.
Yep.
Because when creators start, we think of ourselves as a content creator and not an entrepreneur, right? And we're trying to do, and I know this from my personal experience 17 years ago, and then with the restart, having to start with 0 viewers again, like all of us, like across the board, the entire creator community starts looking at, okay, I have to start creating content. I have to do all of these different things. I also have to be, building a lead magnet and doing this and that and getting a sponsorship. And I have like 1 viewer, right? It's like all of this pressure that exists in the content starter mode that is really detrimental to the growth of your channel and your content itself. So really what I've identified is these 4 different phases that all creators go through and
Yeah.
say, okay, these are the things you really need to be focused on and doing in this stage of your growth. And if you're in this stage of your growth, then these are the things that you need to be focused on. And the whole goal is to get you to making that $5,000 a month directly from your videos,
Yeah.
meaning you're running sponsorships, meaning you have a course, meaning whatever that looks like for you. And there are like a bazillion different options that
Yep.
I don't go through in the masterclass, but I'll
Yeah.
show you some of them. But like how that is the goal. When we think about what we talked about before, thinking about that end goal, the not the ultimate end goal, but the first end goal is to get you to 5K a month in revenue from your videos,
Yeah.
so that you can then duplicate that and have it recurring, and knowing that you have that sustainable business. And then you can take that and you can grow it to 10K and you can grow it to 20K and whatever that vision is for you and how big you want your channel to be.
Yeah.
So that's the masterclass. I'll walk you through all of that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, that's so good. So good. It's
And it's
yeah,
free, by the
it's
way. I didn't say that.
see, you didn't say that, Loria. Like you probably should have led
Oh, man.
there.
I
Hold
probably
on.
should.
Should have
Oh, I'm
led
a
there.
dork. You know, but
Or-
that's just part of me being me. I'm a dork.
That's all right. That is okay. So Paul did put the link in the description, or Paul put the link in the comments. It is also in the description. So if you want to sign up, definitely make sure that you go in and you sign up for that masterclass there. It is free. That is huge. Luria is giving away her time and her knowledge. And this is like a Zoom style format, right? That you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's totally interactive because being the live streamer that I am, I love interactivity, right? Like we were talking about it before, I thrive on that interactivity.
Yeah.
And so this is in Zoom. You will have the chance to actually work through some of the, situations and the problems that you're facing, and
Yeah.
you will have a chance to speak up and ask questions. These are the things that make me the happiest in my business, that I want to be doing more, like we were talking about,
Yep.
is literally just helping people and allowing them to I love it.
Sorry. She wants to
When I
go.
see ahas go off in people's brains, I know they're building confidence in themselves to be able to say, I'm going to take that next step. Just like
Yeah.
you in your
Yeah.
story, you said, okay, well, you had this aha of like, oh, this is a possibility. Let's build off of that confidence and actually take some action.
100%. Yeah, that was, so definitely I will say I am grateful, to just be friends with you, right? And everything that comes
Yeah.
along with being
Ditto.
friends, because it's those things of, and surrounding, you know how it is, like surrounding yourself with like minded people, whether they're in, and you
Mhm.
have to surround yourself with people at all different phases. So you
You
kind of
do,
said it,
yeah.
right? So when I was talking about how, I learned, all of us, we've learned so much from you, and for you to flip that and say that you're also learning from us. I'm a newer content creator, and
Mhm.
there's value that I can bring to you and vice versa. And I
Yeah.
think sometimes a lot of people don't see that. It's you got to surround yourself with people that are at your level, people that you can help, right? I like to describe
Mhm.
it of overflowing cups. If there's a stack of cups
Mhm.
and you pour from the top down, right? You may be, let's say, in the base, someone's filling your cup, but then because it's overflowing, you start to fill other people's cups. I think that that's
Yes.
so huge, just to have
Yeah.
that thought of the type of people, the community, the sense of community to have, because it's
Yeah.
so crucial. Where if you don't surround yourself with people at the next level, how can you get to the next level? But at the same time, you got to
Yeah.
give back, right? You got to give back, because even with you giving back, You're learning from things
Yes.
that you probably would have never thought, right? Right?
Totally. Like it's these when sometimes when I say something in like one of our Zoom calls, like I'm like, oh, like
Right.
because the process of that, you're like, oh, like I didn't think of it that way because somebody asked a question this way and I answered it that way. It's like, wait, there's something there. And we being a content creator, entrepreneur, all of it
Yep.
is so lonely. And I think that it leaves us just feeling like we're alone in this process. No one has ever been through this problem before, when in fact, we've all been through the same exact problems in various scenarios, levels, ways, right? And
Right.
so that community aspect of it is so, so very important.
Yep. Marcus also said the community of like-minded people is invaluable. Friends and family
It really is.
usually don't get content creation. That's huge, right?
No.
That's so
Yeah.
true because Angie's super supportive. And she's not on TikTok anymore, but she was on TikTok, so she got it a little bit. But TikTok,
Little bit
it's a whole nother beast,
different.
right?
Yeah.
But she got it. But then there are things I start to tell her, and she's like, just stop because I'm not getting it. It's right over my head. And I'm like, but babe, but let me just tell you. And she's like, honey, it's, but then she does this thing like, okay, I'll listen just because I
Yeah.
need to get it out. But
Yeah.
it's so much different where if we sit in a room and we're talking and, we get it, right? Like, and we can continue that
Mhm.
conversation or we can challenge each other for things like that. So that is so,
Yeah.
so true with having community. All right. You ready to
I
play
love
some
this.
trivia questions? We're down to
Oh
to
gosh.
the hour. Yeah. Why do you look
Hold
so
on.
stressed?
Okay. I got
You
this.
look so stressed. You're so
I'm the
funny.
world's worst trivia person ever, right? Like if you and I were in a bar with Callie and other friends, whoever, you do not want to
You are
partner
so
with me when
stressed
it
right now.
comes to trivia. I will fail the entire team. So there's that, just so you know.
I duly noted. I'll make sure. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm very competitive too, so thanks for telling me. All right, all right. It's all good. It's not that type of trivia. It's more like let's
Okay.
get to know you. Yeah, it's not that type of trivia. You're good. I promise. You're good. You're good. All right, so this is a good first one because the other one we were looking at before this stream, we were like, no. So this
No.
one, what is something? And I don't know. So I enjoy. Before we get into it, sometimes I have to be careful because when I have friends on the show, I think sometimes I may know the answers. And so I'm like,
Mm.
I don't want to ask the question, but I will say that asking the question is as good as a friend that may be on the show that day. It could be surprising. That's one.
Mm.
And then two, sometimes it's we think we know you. They kind of go that statement goes hand in hand. Like we think we know you. You've been live streaming since 2005. What is something people should know about you that we don't already know? Oh, I want to put pressure on you. You know I love you, right?
Yeah. Uh-oh. I share so much about my entire life and being.
I'm gonna stress you out.
Man,
Luria's never gonna come on the show ever again. I'll stop. Go ahead.
I don't know if many people know this, but I wanted to be a marine biologist when I grew up, like as a kid. I don't think that's something I share often. There's that.
No,
I um I like
that's a good
string
one.
cheese. I don't know.
Okay,
Like
okay, those are two things. We can leave it right there. You like string cheese?
I feel like I should have some kind of dark, deep secret, but I think I ran out of time.
Oh my goodness, that's so fun. No, that's good. You
What
wanted to be
about
a
you?
marine biologist. That's really cool. That's good. Let me see. What is something people should know about me? I don't think too many people know I love to play video games, but the only game really only ever buy consistently is Call of Duty.
Huh.
So I will play first person
How do
shooter,
you
but go ahead.
Why do you buy Call of Duty multiple times? Is there different
Oh, because they
versions?
get
Like, I'm
released
not a
every year.
gamer.
So usually a new version gets
Oh.
released. It's like World of Warfare or Modern Warfare or Call of Duty 3, 4, 5, 6. So it gets released every November. That is the only game, literally. And so it's so funny I say that because my nephew was here this weekend and he's like, "Can I play your Xbox?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." He turns it on and he starts growing through. He's like, he's 11. Is the only game you have is Call of Duty? And I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's the only game I play." I'm sure I didn't. I probably had cool factor. And then when he saw that I don't have racing games. Listen, I don't want to know nothing, but I get in the zone with like, I'll put on my headphones. I turn on the surround sound, like for game. I'll turn off all the lights and it's a whole nother India.
That's funny. Oh, wait,
Yes.
I thought of something else that I've never shared. I don't think I've
Okay.
ever shared this,
Okay.
if we have time.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit pedantic, I guess is the right word. My fridge and my cupboards are very, very organized. And if they get messed up, I feel this deep, deep sense of shame. Like
Oh,
literally
no.
in my fridge, if there's a label, it has to be facing outward. OCD, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, a little.
But it has to be facing outward and it has to be positioned. And like there are sections of the refrigerator that are the dog food sections, and the meat sections, and the drink section. Like, I should never live with anybody ever.
Oh, no. See, that was a good one. Now that you had
when
time.
it's out of order.
And Paul says, I know. He was so disappointed that I only had Call of Duty. You would have thought that would have been enough. But anyway. All right, let's see. What is next? Ooh, if you won the lottery, what would not change?
My work. Like my work would only improve. I would invest in that. So like what would not change is my mission. Like this is my mission till life to help people in this way. So like and even bigger, right, over the time. So yeah, that definitely would not change. What would change is that I would invest in the business so that I free up my time so that I can go on big adventures.
Yeah, exactly. That is, you know what? But that's a good one. What would not change is
That is a
how,
good
and I
one.
can see that. I can see that from you definitely. Because I would see you just right at that point. You would maybe get an actual studio so it's not in your home,
Yes.
right? So that you have
Yes,
separate your home life from your studio life, and then hiring on more of the team or more of the team full time. That I can see. And it was, listen, can we get Luria the winning lottery ticket? Because that's what I want to see. Let's all chip in to get you this winning
What about
lottery
you?
ticket because we all benefit from
it.
that. If I won the lottery, what would not change? I would say my spending would not change because I spend a lot. My electronics, my habits. What would not change?
So you would be one of those people that wins the lottery and like is poor again, like at the end of the day.
No, because remember, I'm a banker. So I can tell you stories that I know clients that I've seen that cycle. And so I have learned enough that I'd, put aside and make investments and make sure that my money's making money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But let's see, what would not change? I would say maybe even like my giving heart, right? Like you need some money. I got you. Let me give back to the community and whatever that looks like. It's just would be amplified at that point.
I love that.
But I would stop working. I would stop working at the bank.
That's fair.
I would stop working. Victor says, depends on how much someone wins. I agree. It depends, because you could have won the lottery and won. That's a good question. You could have won the lottery and it could have been $1,000. And you could have
here we are all assuming that it's millions of dollars.
Right, exactly. Good point. Paul says she would let me out of the closet and buy me a house. I would, Paul. I would let you.
Thank goodness.
Okay. Gen Z is the first generation to grow up completely on smartphones. Do you think that will have long-term consequences for them?
Well, consequences are both positive and negative, right? So the
Hmm.
word consequences we always assume are negative,
Negative. Yep.
but the reality of that word is there's positive and there's negative.
Yeah.
And so I will say yes, there are consequences. There will be positive and there will be negative consequences to that, just as there are with every generation.
Yeah.
Um, like there's a positive in the fact that they grow up knowing how to engage. They know
Yeah.
grow like Callie, for instance, I think she may be Gen Z. I don't know. I don't know what the age differences are, like the breakouts.
Not us.
But like, we'll just assume
Younger
she is.
than us.
She automatically gets content. She automatically
Yeah.
gets structure, gets engagement, so like because the reality of the future is, well, even the here and now, this is a potential career. This
Yeah.
is something that
Yep.
kids can grow up saying, I want to be a famous YouTuber. Well, they can be. And so that's a really positive aspect of it.
Yep.
The negative aspect of it is our mental health.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah. Same thing. I think that it's positive and negative. I think the positive,
Mhm.
and even just us, we are also, you and I are a perfect example. Look at our friendship,
Mhm.
not just from smartphones, but it's that
Yeah.
whole, it all falls in that same realm, that bubble, right? The way technology
Mhm.
is that, you're in Seattle. Yeah. You're in Seattle.
Portland.
Portland, right? So you're there. Doc is in Hawaii. We have friends in London, in the UK, right? Like in Thailand, that we talk to as if they're our next door neighbor. And the same thing with
Yeah.
kids, right? That they are now meeting people and cultures are opened up to them from all throughout the world that it wasn't for
Yeah.
our generations. That's the reality.
Exactly.
Like we read about that stuff in books and maybe heard about it and seen it in magazines and, of course, on TV, but not the way everyone is experiencing it now. And
Mhm.
then what I think the negative long-term consequences are, unfortunately, the interpersonal aspect,
Yeah.
those skills in person, because it's one thing to communicate behind the phone or behind the Xbox Call of Duty, communicate with somebody that I just shot in Japan over there, right? Like versus meeting someone, and YouTube, don't take me down.
Yeah.
Not, we're talking Call of Duty. Don't give me a copyright strike because I said certain words. But it's
I'm
different.
glad.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And finish your thought.
No, I was going to say that it's different from us because we are a part of that world where we were forced to play out in the streets and forced to play out because we didn't have
Mhm.
none of that stuff, and making up games just with our brains, where now there's games on the phone and games on the internet and stuff like that. So what were you
Yeah.
saying?
I was just gonna say, I'm glad you brought up like that's the connections, right? Like, that's one of the biggest positives of having this online world is that we
Yeah.
have international connections and community. I tried to like go out and get some real friends in the real world,
Yeah, right,
and
real, right.
I'm I'm at my yoga studio being like, "Do you want to be my friend? Do you want to be my friend? Like, how do I do this?
Please,
I don't know."
please. Can I just put a camera here and I'll lead the class through camera or something, and I'll talk to you all day then.
I felt like such an idiot, It's like, how do I approach this person? Will they be my friend? Do they like me? Do they think I'm
Yeah.
horrible? Like, it's like all of these things. And so I think that that's spot on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so funny. When I was in class last week in one of our classes, that was one of the things that when we were talking about the content and being consistent, and just even with Zoom every Friday, someone
Mhm.
said, the one thing I'll say about showing up to every class is that I'm no longer afraid to be on camera. It's no, right?
Nice.
I don't even think about it. I turn on the Zoom and it is okay, where that's true, right? So then if we talk
That's
about
awesome.
whether it's Gen Z or us as
Mhm.
content creators versus the non-Gen Z versus non-content creators, you throw a camera in front of them
Yeah.
and they don't know. It's like frozen. Like, what do I do? What?
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? Oh
Totally.
man. All right. So we'll do two more cards and then
All
we'll wrap it
right.
up, okay?
Okay.
This one is not for me, so if you want to pass, we can pass. What sci-fi technology do you wish was real? I'm not
Why
a
isn't
sci-fi
this for
girl.
you?
I'm not a sci-fi girl.
Oh. I would say, what's it called? The ability to um, make food out of nothing.
Okay. Okay. All
Actually,
right.
transportation. I don't know, like the Star Trek transportation. I'm blanking
Like
on.
beam
I'm
me up,
a
Scotty.
terrible pop culture person, but
So there was a movie. So now I'm thinking about it. Shijong Victor says Starships, the teleporter, right? Exactly.
yeah, teleporter.
Replicators.
That's it.
What was the movie? Well, Loria may not know because she doesn't do pop culture references, but there was the movie with Tom Cruise. Why? And it's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
that one.
movies. And I
Mhm.
watched it that he's in the future and he like has the special gloves and he like is fighting crime and he goes in.
Mission, no.
Not Mission
No,
Impossible. No, it's
not
not
Mission
that one.
Impossible. Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
The
Oh,
community will help
actually,
us
that's
that
one
he
of my
puts it
favorite
on
movies.
that there's three that there's
Minority Report.
yes. Oh
I got it.
man, you got it, Loria. She got the pop culture reference. Yes.
And to be
Guys,
fair, I didn't even see the chat. I didn't see the
she
chat.
did it. Kirk Nugent came in and Kirk Nugent helped us and their Gigi helped us as well. Everybody was getting it. That one, I will say, and so I did want to be a police officer when I was younger. So that whole movie spoke
Oh,
to
yeah.
everything in me. It spoke to the person who wanted to be a police officer. It spoke to the tech nerd. So I will say that stuff, although that stuff is a little creepy if we think about it.
That stuff is pretty creepy.
Right now.
But also, I mean, not to open up a can of worms here, but we're kind of there.
I mean, you're right.
In some ways, we are.
Oh my goodness. All right. So let's see what our last card. Do you like these cards? I love these cards. The Pod Decks cards.
These are great. Yeah.
Right? So it's a guy. So they have physical cards, but this is an app that I put on the iPhone. And then you see I did the overlay and it's a great interview style. Let's break up the monotony. Get to know the guest a little bit more. All right. Ooh. In 40 years, what will people be nostalgic for?
We're always nostalgic for these things.
For phones?
Because I look back at the Razor flip phone. That was the coolest thing. Come on, right? And then we got these have changed shape and size, and we've got folding, electronics coming, and I think that's one thing that people, because we're so attached to it, I think we always look back at them nostalgically.
Yeah. Yeah. Gigi says physical contact, and we just finished talking about, right? Like how the cell phones, it's good. And I agree that it's, it's taking us further and further away, physical interactions. A few people are saying that. Lewis is bothering me. Call of Duty games. Probably I will be very nostalgic for my Call of Duty games. Yeah, and then the phone, you talked about the Razor. You know what was my phone that I wanted? The one, it was the Nokia silver one that this guy had in The Matrix. That it was the slide up one. So it was
never seen The Matrix.
Oh my God. What do you mean? I know you say you don't get pop culture references, but I didn't think it was going to happen on one of my streams. Okay.
Okay, keep going. The silver Nokia that I don't have any reference for.
Maybe one time when we are hanging out, whenever we do our retreat, I think I'm going to, we're going to add that to the calendar. We're going to do a movie night, and The Matrix may be one of those movies. Because then you won't even, that's so funny, because then you wouldn't get this one neither. Remember when I was showing you the library? So there's a whole, where's the deck? Let me just show you the deck. There's a whole deck. Of course, now I can't find this one. Would you rather blue pill or red pill? That's a Matrix.
I don't know which one is. I know. I know that it's a Matrix reference. I have no idea which is a blue or a red.
Me neither,
what sends you out?
So you at least knew that, though. At least you knew that. Look at the community is like, look, Gloria, you disappointed people.
I know. I always disappoint people. I mean, that's quite literally my job on camera is to disappoint people.
That that was, you know what? That was a perfect way for us to wrap up, because now the community, they're all like mind blown. Like, what is happening right now?
Mind blown, Matrix. I think there's a tie-in.
I know. Well, there was a phone, a Nokia phone, and it was one of the small ones, and it was all silver, like plated silver, shiny silver, and it was covered, and he would slide it up. He would slide it up, and then it would show the buttons, and it was just that cool trigger sliding up thing.
The Trio.
That was one of them. Yeah, that was. Yeah, not that one, but that was. I actually had that phone because that was like a Palm Pilot style phone. So that talks to, because I'm now a iPad digital pencil girl, so I always had those phones. So, man, so this was fun. This was fun.
This was a blast.
This was good. Yeah. Let me fix my comments over here so they're not showing up on my face.
I know, right? Thank you for inviting me. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on this Tuesday evening. I had to look at the day because I don't know what day it is.
Tuesday evening, where the sun was setting as we started, and she had this glorious glow behind her. I was jealous. Whatever. Oh man.
I just love chatting, hanging out. I love live. I mean, it's one of the best ways to spend your time.
Yeah, I know. All right, my friend. So we are going to wrap up. Remember to sign up for the masterclass. The link is in the description below. Luria is going to talk about how you can make $5,000 a month from being an entrepreneur, a content creating entrepreneur. And the class is free. The class is free. Guys, if you don't sign up, I'm going to come find all of y'all, because she's giving away some free time. Man, listen. Everyone is saying what a fun session. Luria in India, this is awesome. And yes, so Luria and I both have to do a better job at this. Don't forget to hit that like button if you had not liked. Hit that like button down below, because I saw y'all watching. I saw 22 people right now on. Show some love for us. We appreciate it.
You know what I used to say?
What did you used to say?
Give us a thumbs up too if you got them. I don't know.
Were you that stiff? Because that was really stiff, Luria. That was like super.
No. Give us a thumbs up too if you got them.
Wait, Luria, can I bother you? Can you wink? Can I bother you?
No, don't do that to me.
Members, if you are not a live streaming pro member, you might want to join to get some members only content. Because there's some stuff going on where, you know, Luria noticed I said, Luria, can you wink? And she's now turning red.
I literally don't know how to wink without scrunching my entire face into a convoluted disaster.
Members only content. Make sure you are checking that out if you have not, supporting Live Streaming Pros, because she got some good stuff going on there. All right, guys. Luria, this was great. I appreciate you guys, the community.
Thank you.
I have a crazy good, so not for Tuesdays, but for the rest of Sunday, Stephanie Garcia is closing out my January. She's coming on January. I have, who do I have coming up? Miss Jillian Moran from Ecamm. Miss Jill is coming in on this Sunday. Janice Anderson, she's in the Let's Get Live community, coming in on the 22nd. And then Stephanie Garcia is closing off January. And then I have Katie coming on. I have K-Walk. I'm I'm super excited.
The awesome people.
Yeah, man. Amazing. All right, you guys. Peace out. Buenos nachos. I'll catch you guys on Ladies Night on Sunday. Luria, you're the best. I will talk to you in a few. All right, guys. Nos vemos. Bye, y'all.